here, and the case of the Phoenix is the case for multinational companies' impacts. A multinational company is basing its operations in a certain province. To meet its quota, the MNC employs a great number of locals, which has caused a labor shortage in vital sectors of the province. What action would you take as the provincial governor? And explain your course of action.
Hello, everyone.
South Phoenix.
Okay. Hi.
And now your 3 minutes start.
Okay. I see the timer. All right. So, hello, everyone. This is our problems about multinational companies' impacts. So let's dissect these questions together, shall we? So we can clearly see that this is a situation that happens throughout our country, not our specific country, but to the whole world. Because multinational companies are the ones that they kind of gather around like locals to work for them. So this is the situation, and we're going to find the solutions for these. So first off, let's say what we're going to do is that we're going to make a quick survey, an extremely fast survey, asking what are the locals working for those companies? Why are they applying for those companies instead of working for us as like in our locals? So after we understand, maybe they have a better institute, maybe may have a better companies, better workplace, better salaries, or maybe higher wages. So those are the factors that we have to consider, and we ask our locals and why they're doing so. And we could also try to take a look into like the multinational companies, like what are their strong points and what are we lacking. So afterwards, we decided to figure it out, like what is our strong points, what are the locals are like good at, like, you know, instead of like the locals have to work at like those multinational companies, we now applied what we have gathered and applied it into jobs that we are popular with. For instance, so we can finally create a better workplace and a better environment for them to work. Maybe we could start, you know, like evaluating which job is going to be more important and we're going to sacrifice. And okay, so that is the first steps. Now let's move on to the second steps, which is that what are we going to do? Let's advertise. After we upgrade ourselves to fit the standard of the local people, we now market ourselves. We now promote our companies, like our factories, into that this is a better place, because this is a better place. You don't have to work at multinational companies anymore. They're using you. Not like that. But basically, my point is that we're going to promote our factories, that we have changed. We have done a lot of implementation that would help us to improve. And then afterwards, and by then we could change people's mind into instead of every single one of us individuals working for the multinational companies, we now change people's mind and they will now start to reconsider and work for us again. Because this situation happens a lot, because multinational companies are very popular and they really give a lot of benefits. So by doing these two steps, we could change and could develop the locals again.
Yeah, perfect timing. Thank you for your performance.
Thank you.
Okay, so I would like to invite the judges to give any questions for the team, the Phoenix. So may I invite Ms. Chen Hui-Ling?
Congratulations, the Phoenix, on completing very impressive performance. I really love your two steps, right? The first step is upgrading yourself, and the second step is advertising. And and you solve the problems from the demands, and also from the grassroots of the problems, which is very sustainable. But I have a questions right now is in the second step, which is about advertising. You said that you will advertise your company. It is like the perfect workplace to work in, and you want to contrast or you want to compare, the multinational now is not really suitable for them anymore because the local ones will serve all the demands of the worker, but it will pose the problems, which is the multinational in the future will be lost their position in the society, and the impacts will be they lost the position, and the collaborations between Vietnam's company and also the Vietnam's worker and multinational company or workers will be lessons in the future. And how can you deal with this problem? The loss of the position of multinational company, which are related to like the collaborations of our country to another country. That is my first question. And the second question is about like you upgrade yourself, right? You upgrade yourself, but how about the salary? How can you deal with the problems that you cannot provide as much insurance, salary, or some kinds of money or stipend to your workers at the multinational company, and also like the diversity of culture. Yeah, the salary and also diversity of culture is a really strong point of multinational company. And how do you deal with that problems? Two questions.
Thank you, judges. Thank you, Judge, for this incredible questions. And can we have some time to consider this question? That would be great. Thank you.
Sure.
Right.
May I ask, gentlemen, how many minutes you give Phoenix to answer your question? 2 questions.
Yeah, 2 questions. Yeah.
I think it's 2 minutes.
Wow.
1 for each.
Yeah, you have 2 minutes, the Phoenix.
Thank you,
time
judges.
starts now.
That is very generous. Thank you.
So while waiting for the performance, while waiting for preparation of the Phoenix, so may I ask Michael Ngô, can you turn on your mic and your microphone? So what do you think about the performance of the 3 other teams?
What do I think?
What do you think about the performance of the 3 other teams in this part?
I think what I was saying before, how this part 2 is going to be much closer. I think I'm really happy to see that it is. All the teams so far have presented very clearly and very animatedly and very organized and structured, especially considering that they only had 5 minutes to prepare. So very impressed with the team so far.
Thank you, Michael Ngô. So what about Miss Phan Thị Linh?
Well, I have to say that the part 2 is, as Mr. Michael have said, we are come closer to the result. I can see that they have a very inspirational speech, and I can see their skill in problem solving, and also they can solve the problem is like in spontaneity. And I can really admire our four teams finalists. Yeah. So just keep that spirit, and we will see in the next round, the 3rd round debate.
Thank you.
Thank
and
you.
Now,
So,
your time is up.
let's turn your mic and answer the first question.
All right. So for the first question of Miss Ling, I would say that I think that the process of multinational companies having this clash between like the locals and people working there, and then the national companies, there's a clash. But I believe that from my answer, I do mention the part where what we are good at. So basically, if the locals have a set of skills, or maybe like some sort of like investment, or like a factory in which they work in, and they kind of like agree, like they find it more comfortable to work there, then they could continue to work there. if people still find the possibility of continue to work at multinational companies, then they could still continue to work there. We need to balance out these two, definitely, because throughout the way I answer, it might sound like I'm trying to attract everyone, but the truth is, we still need the multinational kind of like aspect. And by balancing it, we could, because at the end of the day, it's the multinational companies could work on like a different factory, a different products they produce or something else, but we could work on our own. So the thing is that we keep on like define like what our locals are good at. We continue to define that part. If people still want to continue working for the multinational companies, well, let them. But the problem here is that I believe is that because we did not upgrade it, they would rather work at a multinational companies rather than work with us. So after we upgrade, they have more choices, they have more availability. The same can be said for the kind of like the salaries, where I would say that it leaves the same kind of like ground, because salaries is definitely like very attractive point for them. But if they already ready are willing themselves to work in multinational companies, then the salaries doesn't have to be that higher, or doesn't have to increase. If we do increase, and it's good for us because we attract more. But if not, then there's nothing wrong with it, because people are already accepting to work in these sort of factories. They are happy to have jobs, and by upgrading and by applying both multinational companies, people have more chances to work and they have more options. And well, people usually say the more options, the better. So that's my answer. Thank you for listening.
Now may I invite Miss Lian.
I need to say that I was very surprised and very impressed by your presentations. You've done so well. So I got one more question for you. I think it's not really tricky. So, as you guys opposing the two actions, the main action that you would take as a provincial governor to opposing the fight between for labor between multinational company with the local company. So would you ever think of the any side effect of this action, as the action can be considered as the hostile to the foreign investment? So would you consider any effect of that, side effect of that?
Okay, so I would like to answer this question. Our team would like to answer this question immediately. For the hostile kind of viewpoints, is that I think they're only hostile when they realize there's no reason to continue to invest in a place without any workers, and if that place only continue to specialize specifically for the locals. It's like they tell the investor that we are only specialized in one specific production line, and there's nothing you can do about it. I think that's the hostile approach. But if we continue to welcome them with open arm and say that we do have locals that work in like the specific this specific line, but we also have people that are still like jobless and they still don't like find a place for them to work. They could still continue so the multinational companies could still continue to work there. This also related to the previous answer, in which that I mentioned that like people have more options. So that doesn't mean that everyone is going to willing to work in one company, and it's not like we're closing in. We're shutting down everything from the multinational companies. It's that I think that we want to strive for balance. We want to strive for, you can still invest. You can still let other people work at your company. But remember that we want to make sure that we do not let our locals like labor shortage in both sides. I think that's like on both sides. We still want everyone to have a job, basically.
Mike want to add in is that these methods that we just stated before is that just for a temporary time, not for a long terms, because you see, for long terms, if I must say so myself, the others workers gonna be too reliant on these two methods, and they are gonna start depending on the benefits insurance or anything like that. So we offer them in the marketing criteria or even in the surveying criteria, if I must say so. And we can this short terms. These actually short-term two methods are actually for the to stabilize the flows of the markets and also the sustainabilities of the both of the categories. What I say is that it actually very short terms methods. For the long terms, we haven't think of any specific ideas or methods that can meet up with the expectations from others investors, if I must say so myself. And that is my some of my adding information for the answers coming from Đoàn Quốc Khánh. Yes.
Thank you, Dương.
Thank you. So Michael Goble, turn on your mic and ask the Phoenix.
Yes, I'd like to first start off saying, Quốc Anh, I think you did an amazing job, not just presenting the ideas, but also articulating it in a very engaging manner. So keep the good work, keep it up. I think you're a very good speaker, so continue to develop that. So my question is, a lot of the discussion and the solution so far is assuming that I think the reality is you will need to do both in terms of facilitating an increased investment on the MNC side, as well as developing capability on the provincial side. So with that, there's going to be an increased need for labor, skilled labor. So how will you address that?
Okay, so for skilled laborers, okay, so our team, we mentioned, so you mentioned like the skilled laborers. I would say that for this, because I think that we're living in a period of time where we have to develop in order to get used to this world, to be accepted. So people, I would say that if they want to have a job, then I believe everyone will be willing to learn extra courses or maybe willing to learn new set of skills to apply themselves into this world. Because without it, they will eliminate themselves, and that's yeah. So I believe that's from my point. So other members would also like to add it. So Dương, can you also add in some points?
So basically speaking, that both provincials and MNCs are in need of skilled workers, right? And I must say that they have to to go through some campaigns and some projects or specific employing campaigns so that they can eliminate all the short out the skilled workers from the not so skilled workers. And actually I have yet to come to solution to this problem whatsoever. Yes.
All right, thank you, team.
Thank you, judges, and thank you, the four teams. And once again, I would like to congratulate